Hello, Booktube. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and this is going to be another part of my summer book haul. I acquired a lot of books over the summer, and since I took a channel break, I really had not done a book haul video since sometime in early June. So I've already posted my cozy mystery portion of my summer book haul, and this video is going to focus on fiction that is mostly of interest to women. I would call it women's fiction and a little bit of romance. So upcoming videos after this, I'm also going to have some Christian fiction, some nonfiction, some middle grade, a little bit of YA, a little bit of fantasy, maybe even a couple of horror books. So stay tuned for those coming up, and I will probably just go ahead and film 2 or 3 more of these today because I'm really wanting to get some of these books put away and tucked away, and I can't do that until I get the videos done. So if you're interested in women's fiction, then stay tuned, and if you're not, then you probably wouldn't have clicked on this to begin with. But stay tuned for future videos coming up in the next few days that will hopefully have something that you would be interested in. So the first book I want to show you is one that I got very recently. I found this at the Dollar General store. It was the only copy they had. It's The Pink Suit by Nicole Mary Kelby. Now, this is a novel. I thought at first that it was nonfiction, but it is based on the suit that was worn by Jacqueline Kennedy on the day that Kennedy was assassinated. I first heard about this book, I think, on Dee's channel, Books and Quirks, and I can't remember if she said she liked the book or not, but I remember hearing her talk about it and thinking, oh, that sounds really interesting. So it was on my radar, and I went ahead and picked it up because it was $2. Okay, then this next book I believe I got in all of the free books that I got at the beginning of the summer from the storage facility. And if you don't know that story, go back and watch my cozy mystery video, and I talked a little bit about it on there. This is called The Memory Book by Penelope J. Stokes, and I'm a scrapbooker, so anything with a scrapbook photo album on the front is going to catch my interest. And just a real quick thing on the back, it says that it's a story about the past, a story about how the past can redeem the future and how the future can redeem the past. And on down a little bit, it says, how do you respond to the diary of a dead woman that tells the story of your own life? So that sounds really interesting. And then this one just looks cute. I can't remember even where I got it. The Irresistible Blueberry Bake Shop and Cafe by Mary Simses. And I don't know anything about it. Ellen Bradford is going to fulfill her grandmother's dying wish to find the hometown boy she once loved and give him her last letter. Oh, that sounds wonderful. You know, I just bought it because of the cover. I hadn't even read anything about it. Okay, an author I'm very familiar with, Debbie Macomber. I've read a lot of her books. This is Return to Promise, and I don't know if this is from a series, but it looks like the setting is Texas, Promise, Texas. I think there's a whole series set in Promise, Texas, and so I'm going to need to find out where this falls in the series because I haven't read any of these. I have read a lot of Debbie Macomber books. I've read all of the Cedar Cove novels, and I'm currently reading The Rose Harbor, which is a spinoff of Cedar Cove, and I've read all of the Blossom Street novels and a few other odds and ends of her books, and I really enjoy her writing. Okay, so now I have a new collected author that I've never read. This is my 4th book by Julie L. Cannon. This is the Romance Readers Book Club. I don't know anything about it, but I got it because I have another trilogy by her. It is, I think it's called the Homegrown Trilogy. True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes, Mater Biscuit, and something about Pearly Gates. I don't know. I bought those books a year or 2 ago, and I promised myself I was going to read them this year, and I kept letting other things get in the way. So I have not read any of those, but I am super excited to read them. So now I have this book by her. I believe I got this at a library sale, but it looks brand new. So so now she is one of my collected authors that I've never read. And speaking of collected authors I've never read, Cecilia Ahern is one of those, and I got another book by her, P.S. I Love You. This is, I think, her most popular book. There may be a movie of this one, but I have not read, like I said, I've not read any of hers. There's another, I'm still kind of trying to narrow it down between one or two of her other books that I have that I am planning to read probably next month. And I may be buddy reading one of those with Laura from Mom to Triplets 04. So, but I went ahead and got this. I saw it at a library sale. It's kind of banged up a little bit, but it's okay. It was a fill a box for $5, so it was practically free. And I think at that same sale, I also picked up this one, Where Rainbows End, and I got home and started looking it up and realized that I already had this book under a different title, Rosie Dunn or Rosie Dune. And in comparing the two, I'm going to keep the one I already had. I love this cover. It's adorable. This is an epistolary novel. I don't know anything about it other than that. And it says it's about two childhood friends whom destiny can't help toying with. So anyway, if you would like to have this one, let me know, and I could possibly send it to you. Otherwise, I'll probably just put it in a little free library or something like that. And then speaking of collected authors I've never read, another one that I have never read that I have several books of is Erling Fowler. I've collected most of her Benny Harper mystery series, which is a cozy mystery series. My sister's read all of them. And I didn't have, this is another series that she started not too long ago, the Ruby McGavin series. This is the first book, The Saddlemaker's Wife. My sister said she really enjoyed this one. There is a second book in this series as well. And I don't think I will start either of these series, even though she's one of my collected authors I've never read. I'm really not feeling like I should start another series this late in the year. If I do read one of her books this year, it will probably be Love Mercy, because so far that's the only book in that series that has been released, and I have a copy of it too. But I know that she's going to be a great author to read, and my sister and I have a lot of the same tastes in books, and she has thoroughly enjoyed Erling Fowler, so I know that I will too. All right, another author, a collected author that I had not read at the beginning of the year, but now I have, is Lorna Landvik. The book I have finally read by her is Patty Jane's House of Curl, and so I saw this one, The Tall Pine Polka. I think this is one of her earlier books, and I didn't have it. It's got a maypole on the front. It's such a pretty cover, and I am excited to get it, and I don't know anything about it either. So I enjoyed Patty Jane's House of Curl. I actually listened to an abridged version of it on Hoopla. At some point, I'll go back and read the whole book because it was very enjoyable. And hopefully I'll get to this one of these days too. And then one more author that at the beginning of the year I had collected many books by and had not read is Elizabeth Berg. And I have now listened to one of her books just a couple months ago. I think it was called What We Keep. But I did not have Once Upon a Time There Was You. The covers on Elizabeth Berg's books, so many of them are just beautiful. They draw me right in, and this one is no exception. I love it. So I forget even now where I picked this up, probably at a library book sale. And I bought this one from a used bookstore. I actually traded in some books, and I had been eyeballing this one because I have now finished the Shenandoah album series by Emily Richards, and the hardcovers of Emily Richards' books are kind of hard to find, and so I wanted to go ahead and just pick this one up. I don't think this is part of a series. It's called Prospect Street, but it's a really pretty cover, and I now am wanting to read everything by Emily Richards. So I had to get this one. And then speaking of Emily Richards, I went ahead and picked up this for my sister. This is the paperback version of Wedding Ring, which is the first book in the Shenandoah album series. Now that I have read the whole series, I want to go ahead and get my sister started on them. When I was listening to the very first book, it was actually when I was in Oklahoma, and she was with me. We were sharing a room at my brother's house, and she heard a little of it, and she said, "Now, what's the name of that again? I'm going to have to look that up when I get home." So I found a copy of it for her. She doesn't usually do audiobooks. She just usually reads the print books, and so I think she will enjoy this one a lot. The whole series has kind of an underlying quilt theme, and she's a quilter, so I think she'll enjoy it. Okay, a couple more. This one I have already read. In fact, this is my favorite book of all time. This is A Redbird Christmas by Fannie Flagg, and I found this at a Goodwill. Now, I have Redbird Christmas. I used to have a couple of copies and I have given some away, but I had never seen this edition and it is beautiful. I love it. And I thought, you know, this is my favorite book of all time. Why can't I have more than one edition of this book? Well, sure. So I got it. I think it was $3 and in tax. So I am excited to have it. It really is pretty and it's a wonderful book. If you haven't read this, you know, December is not that far around the corner. If you like just reading Christmas books at Christmas, then I recommend that you pick it up. If it doesn't matter to you, and really, I wouldn't even really classify it as a Christmas book. I know it has Christmas in the title. It starts, the book starts right before Christmas, and it spans a whole year and then ends the next Christmas. So it's fair to call it a Christmas book, but when I first read it, I was just reading all of Fannie Flagg's books. I didn't care Christmas or not, and I fell in love with this book. So I definitely recommend it. And then two more that are also Christmas related. This one says, it's by Emily March, called Heart Song Cottage. And you can't really tell that it's Christmas until you kind of start looking at the picture a little closer. And there's a Christmas tree in the front yard and some Christmas decorations. I hadn't really thought much about Emily March until I heard Sarah, who used to be, her channel used to be Novel Expectations. Now she's changed the name to Not Just Romance or something like that. She, I believe, has talked a little bit about Emily March. And it's such a pretty book and it's Christmas themed. I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. I think I got it at a, oh no, you know what? I think this was in our little free library. Somebody had put it in there, and since I usually put in the majority of the books come from me, I don't feel bad about taking one out every once in a while that someone else has shared. And then one other one, I think I got this at a library book sale. It's actually an ARC, but it was a fill a box for $5 kind of deal, so I didn't actually pay for it. I just, you know, put it in my box. It's A Quilt for Christmas by Sandra Dallas. Now, I'm kind of back and forth on Sandra Dallas. I've read 3 or 4 of her books, and some I've liked more than others, and a couple of them I was just really disappointed in. So I don't know which way I'm going to go on this one, but it looked really good, so I thought I would take a second look. All right, so those are all of the women's fiction / romance books that I got that are not specifically a Christian theme. Now, I do have lots of Christian fiction that is also predominantly geared towards women, but that'll all be in a separate haul, or at least a separate video. And so that's all I want to share with you for this video. Are there any of these books you've read or heard of, or any that you hope that I will read sooner than later? Then let me know. And I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.